Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're back on the C3 Picasso, the one with the 1.6 diesel engine. We're doing a full service today, so that would include some Petronas Cintium oil, 5 or 30. Couldn't find it then. What Formula 1 fan wouldn't use Petronas Cintium? We have got a Borgenbeck oil filter, and if you want the part number, I'll put everything in the screen in the description below anyway. We have an air filter from Bosch because I couldn't find one at Borgenbeck. We have a Borgenbeck cabin filter, and again couldn't find a Borgenbeck one. But we have a fuel filter, which I'm led to believe isn't as awkward as it looks. We'll see. Yeah, all this stuff. So let's make a start. Okay, so first things first then. Air filter. So to do that, we need to get rid of the engine cover. So the air filter is in that box just there, which is dead awkward to see. We also need to remove the air pipe from the turbo, and that will come out with the box. In this gap here is the MAF sensor, and we also need to remove this pipe here as well, which goes into the air intake, which will give us access to the oil filter, which is way down there. So let's get on with that. Right, I've encountered a problem, and it's a square peg round hole kind of problem. This airbox usually sits with this rubber grommet on this pin here. Okay, I've lifted it because the idea is that this airbox is removable. So you lift it and it comes out of this gap through here that you make when you take off all the air pipes and such. Doesn't seem to want to play because it's massive, and we've got all this stupid stuff here that I can't seem to work out how to take off. It just doesn't come off. So I'm in a bit of a pickle. I don't think I'm going to be able to change the air filter. Scratch that, I probably can, but it's going to be very, very difficult. There are 3 screws, one just here, one there, and one there. I believe they're a T25. I've drowned them in WD-40 because I do not want them snapping, because I would then have to change the airbox, and then we're catch-22, can't get the airbox back out. And I believe, I'm led to understand that it just hooks in at the back. So I'm going to remove the screws and try and lift the top off and see if that works. Okay, it's off. That was a ninja job. So it hooks on with some plastic tabs at the back, and there's a screw there, and a screw just there. That's where your air sensor goes, and that sits on there just like that. Right, let's change the filter. I swear to God, after all that, this would better fit. So let's pull this out if we can. Gotcha. I think that's been an air filter just that little bit too long, don't you think? So we'll get rid of that. Let's pop the new one in. Still got the same mesh on the bottom. And thank any God that's listening, that fits. So I will squash this down, get it in the right place, and then we've got to put all that back together again. That's going to be a pain in the arse. However, it is what it is, so never mind, let's carry on. Right, so the airbox is now back together. That I'm not going to allow as a pain in the arse to do. What I'm going to do now, the bit that fits here is the sensor plugged into there. Now, it is a common cause of a rough run. Now this card does cut out every now and then, so what I'm going to do is give that sensor a clean with some cleaner, and then that will just eliminate one reason for it to start running rough. So okay, let's get on with that. Okay, so next up then is the cabin filter. This is the replacement one. It's a Borg & Beck unit. I do like Borg & Beck. You've seen this on the channel before. It's one of those. If you want to pause that. Now then, you can tell I've got the scuttle off here. That's not normal. The scuttle is actually on the floor just here. Here's where you'd normally access it. I've got this scuttle off for a different reason, for a different video that's already been out. So I'm just going to cheat. Okay. So what we do to remove the air filter, the cabin filter even, is there's two little clips, one here and one just over here. If we open those, pop that down and just pull the filter out. Okay. We can see this one is used, let's say. It was a Micronair. Yeah, never heard of it. That's the top bit that filters all the crap. The bottom bit's actually quite clean, so that's done quite well. I'm happy with that. You can tell it was at some point a charcoal impregnated filter. But yeah, that's done its job. Out it goes. Next one then. This one has an airflow meter on it. Airflow directioner even. And that literally just slides in its place. Just in there. Make sure it's actually in for a start. Oh, you're fighting me. Stop fighting me. It's fighting me because I got the wrong side in. There we go. And it just pushes up like that. So when I put the scuttle back on, everything will be all sealed in and happy. So let's get the scuttle back on. I'll do that off camera and then we'll carry on with the rest of the service. Okay, so the next thing then is going to be the diesel filter. In order to take that off, first and foremost, you need some rag handy, because when you undo these fuel lines, it will spill with diesel. There is an electrical connector just here. There's a little flap at the back. Just pull that up and pull the connector off. And then these two fuel lines, there is a specific tool for it if you have one. If not, there's just two little tabs there that you can just push and they slide off like that. It is worth bagging the ends of that up. For the sake of this, I'm not going to. However, it is best practice to prevent dirt ingress into your fuel lines. There's one more just there. I'm going to get that off camera because that's awkward. And then a little flap there, pull that up, and the whole thing just lifts out. So let's get on with that. Okay, so changing the fuel filter then. What we've done is we've taken this part off here. Okay, this is the old one. We need this part. This is the electrical part. The O-rings on it are just fine. I'll lubricate those before it goes back in. And the electrical connectors look good as well. The way that comes off, push this little tab down, lift this end up, and pull the whole unit out like that. So it'll come out of this hole here. Okay. Now, there's the new one. And in order to fit that, it should be the reversal. So there's a little clip just there that'll hold it in. That'll go in there, and that will move, and that will sit under there like that. Brilliant. Right, happy days. So I will lubricate those O-rings, and we'll put that back in. Okay, so everything's connected now. We've got the 2 fuel lines on, we've got the 2 electrical lines on, because there are 2, I missed one, it's at the bottom, right at the bottom there. Now what we've got to do is prime it. So in order to do that, there's this little squeezy pump thing here. Keep squeezing that for a million years until it gets hard, and that should be the system primed. So I'm going to carry on doing this. I shall not bore you with that on camera, and then we'll try and start it up. Alright, so that's the fuel filter primed with the squeezy pump over there. Done. Next up, oil filter. So the oil filter lives in this housing just here, and on there is a 27mm head. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo that with a 27mm socket. I'm going to put some rag down underneath just to make sure that any spillages are caught, and we're going to change the oil filter. Okay, so this is the old filter. As you can see, it's been there for quite some time. There is a rubber O-ring that needs to be removed. So what we're going to do is pull that filter out, take the O-ring off, and on the new one we have a new filter and a new O-ring. So let's get on that. Okay, so next up is the engine oil itself. In order to do this, you're going to need a 21mm socket and a new crush washer, and it should just come undone like that. We're getting somewhere. Still needs a bit more. Got a fair thread on it, there's. Try again. I always do that. There we go. So we'll let that drain now. Well, that appears to be all of it, so let's give it a quick spray. And I'll wipe down. And then while we're here, with the new crush washer, thread the bolt back in. If it'll play. There we go. And we'll glue that back up. Does have a fair old thread on it. That's nice and snug without stripping the bolts. I'll give that another quick spray down. and another wipe just to make sure everything is clean. Happy with that? Let's go put some oil in it. Okay, now it's time to reset the service light. So as you can see here on the dash, we have a spanner next to the mileage indicating that a service is due. If we push that button, it's overdue by 4,050 miles. Not long bought this car. I've not personally left this that long. I wouldn't do that. However, what we're going to do is pressing and holding the 0 button over there. I'm going to turn the ignition off, press and hold, turn the ignition on, and you've got a 10-second countdown there. And once you hit 0, that's your timer reset. Done. There we go. So if we fire it up now, we should have mileage and no spanner. Look at that. Happy days. Lovely. So that was a fairly easy job for what it was. There's a couple of little bits that I struggle with, but like the airbox, for example, not quite sure how that works. I heard a rumour that it splits into a few pieces, but I haven't worked out a way of doing it. Is what it is, not too bothered. It's changed, everything's good. So we did the air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, cabin filter, and the engine oil as well. So, brilliant. You know what to do. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube good stuff. Tell the algorithm that the channel is doing really well, pushes the content out to more people. Also go visit me on Instagram. So we've got Dad DIY at the bottom there. You see what I'm doing in between videos. You can also go and visit all my sponsors. So first and foremost, we've got TSA Performance, anything for your 1KR engine, not necessarily relevant for this particular one. However, this version of the engine, the 1.6, is very similar to the 1.4 that was in some of the other C1s and things, so might be relevant to you there. Go and visit Form 7 Performance, so down at the bottom there, we've even got a discount code on screen as well. Go show them some love, any part for any car basically. If they haven't got it, ask them, they'll see if they can get it. We have X8R, and I am taking some measurements for a few bits and pieces for this particular car. Send it off to X8R and see if they can produce some parts for it. I'm not going to tell you what just yet, just in case they can't. We also have Mishimoto. Do need to speak to Mishimoto, reference Project C1. I need an intercooler, so go show them some love as well. And finally, we've got Blossom Automotive. They did the lovely sticker pack on Liz's Mark II C1, so brilliant. Go show them some love. If you want to, if you think you got some benefit out of this video, you can buy me a coffee. No pressure. If you want to, great. If you don't, great. It just helps fund the future videos and future channel content, things like that. But the easiest and cheapest way is to like the comment. What am I talking about? Like the video, drop a comment, and share the video far and wide. So you know what to do. Ring the bell, get notified next time I see a video, and I'll see you in the next one.